3 drops. Drop number 1. Bloop. Drop number 2. Bloop. Drop number 3. Bloop. Okay. All right.
So we shook a lot of...
Siri, set a timer for 15 minutes.
We shook a lot of hands this weekend, huh?
We shook too many hands this
weekend.
weekend.
We shook a lot of hands this weekend.
We shook too many hands this weekend.
I would absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
That it was probably too many hands.
Yeah,
it was probably a statistically dangerous number of hands.
Well, let me think. There was, I think there was 75 pre-show meet and greets and 50 post-show meet and greets. So that's what? Yeah. 250? Is that correct?
That sounds about right. I think I'm coming through the monitors right now. No, it's
350. Oh yeah, no, we definitely are. My bad.
That's fun.
No wonder it sounded so loud.
I was getting flashbacks to this beautiful evening that we had with all of you. And there's nothing that could happen to spoil that beautiful experience that we had. I can't think of a single thing, a single variable that might have been riding along with one of you. That might put a sour note on this incredibly cathartic and affirming experience that we had.
It was such a beautiful time. I also can't think of a single variable that could have been riding along with you.
Yeah.
You know? And so I'm glad to know that everything went perfectly and that there are no lingering anxieties of any kind.
Right.
And that there's nothing standing betwing me and having a lovely weekend.
You're going to have such a good time at Disney World next weekend. I'm so happy for you.
I'm going to have such a good time. I'm going to enjoy my flight down to Orlando.
Yep.
And then I'm going to have a lovely time in the Magic Kingdom and at Hollywood Studios, with Brett Favre.
Yep.
And nothing's going to ruin that time. Nothing's going to stand in the way. And I'm so excited. Yeah. And, and if something were to stand in the way, it certainly wouldn't be anything that I would, blame on an individual.
Right. It wouldn't be anything. It wouldn't specifically be one of your faults.
No.
And you'll know if it is.
Right.
It's like it's the kind of, it wouldn't be the kind of thing where like if it's your fault, I mean, you're like shivering at home right now thinking, oh, fuck. If you're like shivering at home, if you're like at home right now and you can't breathe and you're shivering and you're like, is this my fault? Could be. Yeah. Depends on how the next 15 minutes go.
Right. Because over the next 15 minutes, I'm going to do a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
And wondering and examination. And over the next 15 minutes, at the end of this 15 minutes, I'm going to know for sure whether or not I think it's right to blame an individual in the Discord server who mentioned it. Mentioned the possibility that it was their fault that I'm not going to go to Disney World with Brett Favre this coming week?
Hey, we're having a lot of fun right now.
Uh-huh.
Can you imagine how bad the episode will be if we find out we have COVID? It's just gonna at some point during this episode that little thing's gonna change and we're gonna know whether or not you have COVID, and if you have COVID I have COVID, and it's gonna happen 15 minutes into the episode, and then we'll have like 15 minutes or less into the episode, and then we'll have like an hour more. We'll have like an hour and a half more episode to do.
Yeah.
With COVID.
Well, the good news is...
Right.
That'll be an interesting energy.
Yeah.
The good news is that usually the T line with the red stripe, usually that shows up real quick if you actually have it.
And it hasn't shown up yet?
No.
That's a good
usually
sign.
Doesn't actually take 15 minutes. Really, this bit we've been doing right now will only be funny if I do have COVID.
Right.
If it turns out that
honestly,
I don't...
it's actually better if you have COVID, because then we can milk this premise for an entire episode.
Yeah, and then we can find the person in the Discord server who was like, hey, everyone, I just found out that I have COVID.
Yeah.
And I may have met some of you at the meet and greet, so you might want to get tested. We can single that person out and just yell at them for an hour and a half.
Exactly, and that's just content. That's just stuff that we have and I don't have to worry about.
Just good old-fashioned content.
Right.
I'm in a weird headspace today.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
I'm tired too. This is like my fourth cup of coffee.
I can't have vodka sauce anymore. And that's just something I have to accept, and it's a sad thing, but like 30-year-old me with this body, I can't. I had a fucking drunken grandma pizza last night. A whole drunken grandma.
Oh no.
Yeah, but just the whole thing.
Oh no.
And then like an hour and a half later, I was like, I think a whole bag of Cool Ranch Doritos also is
what
going to
the
be good.
fuck, dude?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then I did not. I almost canceled the episode when I woke up this morning.
Yeah,
I was like,
Chris, that's not eating. That's self-harm.
Yeah, it was.
You might as well have been cutting. That's horrible. You abused yourself.
I already kind of had heartburn a little bit, and I opened up DoorDash, and I was like, I'm gonna get something healthy. I'm gonna get something that's kind of good for me. And then I just kind of forgot.
You don't do that on DoorDash.
I just kind of forgot.
It's not that's not what DoorDash is for.
I pressed go on the fucking drunken grandma pizza, and then fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, that was wrong.
Yeah, that was not the healthy
No,
choice.
that was I fucking D+, Chris.
That was named after that's a pizza named after a drunk grandmother.
And it's so good though.
I bet.
It's so fucking good.
When you started to say that you can't have vodka sauce anymore, I thought you were just saying I can't have vodka
drink.
anymore for a
No,
second.
I meant the creamy tomato sauce.
Yeah, no,
I meant the delicious and creamy tomato. I can't drink it because it gives me heartburn real bad when I wake up the next morning.
But for a second, I thought, oh, this is going to be an interesting episode. Chris is opening up about his drinking problem,
right, which I've hidden very well from you.
Incredibly well.
Yeah,
I've never seen. I don't think I've seen you drink.
Yeah, since
even
you
a
drank.
beer.
I think like the last time you saw me drink, you were still drinking.
Probably.
Yeah.
You're just not a drinker.
I'm trying to think the last time I was really drunk, and it was probably with you.
Might
in
be.
like the early 2010s.
I'll do it. So far so good. Speaking of tests, I got myself checked out recently.
Right.
You know, and I peed in a cup and I let them steal my blood to just look at it and
Just
check
to
to see if there's any boogans in it.
Right.
And
there are ghosts in here?
you were gonna. Are there any little guys swimming around in this blood that we should worry about? So that I could do things with the old wiener.
Right.
And
you did mention this.
Yeah.
You mentioned that I was in your house and you were like, I just got an STD test. Actually, let's wait for the podcast, which is the opposite of what I like. Usually if something happened, like you had an STD test, you're like, okay, I have to tell you about this now so that we don't have to talk about it during the podcast.
Yeah.
But you have saved this STD story specifically for the podcast. So I'm very interested.
So I got my results back. Right.
Right.
And I'm scrolling through the list and, next to each thing that they test for, they have a bit of text in either green or red that says, normal. And then they have one that goes, abnormal! In bright red, all caps letters. I'm scrolling down through my list of results from my STD test.
Yeah.
Abnormal.
No, you don't want to see
You
that.
don't want to see an abnormal.
When you're going to the doctor, be like, my dick good? You don't want...
Can I fuck?
Can I
ever
fuck?
again for as long as I live?
Right.
Am I going to die? Will I live or die? Tell me. And the response is abnormal.
Yeah, the paper equivalent of just like, what the fuck is this? It's like,
whoa! You're just like pointing at something and just going, holy shit,
just
look
a
at that.
doctor pointing at your cock. Just like, oh no!
Abnormal. Like it feels like, a doctor looked at my balls and went, there's some freak shit right here. You're gonna want a second opinion on this thing.
Like...
Because that's what I saw. I was scrolling down and in bright red, all caps, bold letters, next to the name of a disease was the word abnormal.
Okay.
Terrifying.
Yeah,
everything
you can
else
imagine.
was normal and green in little polite letters.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no, that's what I expected. I don't fuck. I don't really do that. And so,
Yeah, I bet I don't have AIDS.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure I don't got AIDS.
Mostly for religious reasons.
Right.
I abstain. And so when I see abnormal, which of course is the equivalent of being punched in the solar plexus to a man like me.
Right.
The wind is knocked out of me.
Yeah, you hate receiving bad news you don't understand.
Yeah. Bad news that I don't understand, can't predict the outcome of, and could be of serious
yeah.
Yeah.
Your dick might be poisonous now. You don't know.
Well, according to this, there was a big red letter sign saying your dick is poisonous.
Yeah. Okay.
You've been poisoned by your own dick and will poison others if you expose them to it.
Okay.
And then I had to deal with the second punch to the solar plexus that was seeing it next to the word herpes. Chris, I have herpes.
You have herpes?
Everyone, I have herpes. And so I went to Google because I was like, fuck, what do I do? What do I do about this herpes 1 that I see here? Oh, man. At least it's not herpes 2. That sounds worse than herpes 1. But herpes 1, or is that the worst one? Because it's number 1. And I have to look. It's cold sores. I have cold sores.
It's like those like weird herpes everybody has.
Yeah.
Okay.
Herpes 1 is the cold sore one, right?
Right.
I've never had a cold sore in my life, though.
Right.
So I had no reason to think that I had any that would show up. So I see 2 forms of herpes and I go, well, it's an STD test and I've never had cold sores in my life. But holy shit.
Right, and there's a big red warning box next to the herpes box
that says abnormal.
Right, yeah. No, I can see why you were concerned.
Abnormal.
Right. Yeah, so you just thought you had herpes for a little bit?
Yeah, which I have no idea how that happened.
Yeah.
I don't do the thing that is required in order to get that. So I was like,
it's weird that I'm able in my head to go back through. It's like, who has Will fucked recently?
That's the thing, though. Is like, in that moment, not only was I learning that my dick is poisonous, but that the last partner I had was not who they said they were.
Right.
So my world was crashing down, all because this fucking service had the audacity to include cold sores next to AIDS.
Yeah, don't call it that.
Don't test that. Don't even test for it.
Don't call it herpes.
Yeah.
Like call it cold sores.
Don't put it on that list.
Call it innocuous little penis cold sores. Like, have that be what the disease is called.
It's fucked up. I find it really fucked up that they bothered to even put it on the list. It should be on the list. Don't give me a fucking heart attack.
Yeah.
I could have had a heart condition and fallen over on the bathroom floor and cracked my neck open on the lid of the toilet.
I don't
fucking know.
That could have happened. Sure.
I could have died.
Yeah.
They put me at serious risk. I almost died yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Because they had to be a bunch of drama queens and include cold sores on an STD test and then shame me for it with big red letters calling me a freak for what happened to my cock.
Yeah.
And then nope.
No, it turns out you just have a thing that
turns out I just kissed a girl with a yucky lip and also have COVID-19. Welcome everybody to Life in the World. Oh fuck! That was a bad idea.
Will basically just threw his chair at his computer. He stood up and said, "I'm gonna give so much energy for this. There's gonna be
too much energy."
Basically hugged your chair at your fucking fucking big good computer.
Yeah, that was a bad idea. I thought that would be funny. And I thought it would be like good for the energy. It was bad for the energy. I chugged another Mountain Dew. I've got need to pee energy. I stood up. I wanted to like really go into this with like a lot of power. That was not power.
It was pretty funny though.
Maybe to watch, but
no, I think it's good.
I don't know,
because what they hear is just like is high energy and then just like a jumbling of metal and then oh shit, oh fuck, oh no, which is pretty good.
Okay,
it's good stuff.
All right, so I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna do some jumping while I still have the lung capacity.
You're right,
to do
exactly.
So.
Yeah,
because folks, I have COVID. Just kidding. I don't actually.
Yeah.
No, it came out negative.
That would be pretty fucked. That would be pretty
really
fucked up. Yeah, it would be because again, I don't know if we said this before we cut, but if we have COVID, you have COVID.
Yeah.
Listening to this, you
and
have
some
COVID.
Of you anyway. Some of you were at our events last weekend.
A good chunk of you shook our hands and hugged us.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Some of you, as part of your meet and greet package, asked me to cough directly into your mouth,
which was weird, but
you paid.
You pay the money, you gotta,
And so I coughed into your mouth, and you coughed into mine, And then then you walked away. It was
and they
weird.
they ask us to sign anything or
No.
nothing. You didn't give us a name. You walked up to the table and said, "Open your mouth," and then coughed into it, and then sprinted out of the theater. You didn't stay for the film.
Yeah, there were some people.
This was at the pre-show meet and greet, and they just fucking left. They just went.
Yeah, and then
Out into the fucking 20-degree cold.
it was very strange.
Yeah.
Then there were some people who in the post meet and greet who like they wanted to suck stuff out of my nose. That was
Right.
like their thing.
That was their whole thing.
Yeah.
They came up to you and they said, "This is my whole thing. Can I suck stuff out of your nose?"
I really just want to place my mouth around your nose and inhale.
I know it's my whole thing.
Yeah. And listen, it's fine.
Someone coming up to them like, "Listen, I know you guys have to sign a lot of weird stuff. I was just really hoping that you could let me suck shit out of your nose. If you just get me down that fucking nose, suck shit."
And look, I'm happy to oblige.
Yeah.
Frankly, it breaks up the monotony of signing things.
You're right.
Someone's
gonna fucking ask you next time, dude. Do you think they're not gonna remember? They'll
dude, I
fucking
hope
remember.
so. I hope so, and then I hope somebody fucking does it. I want a fan to suck stuff out of my nose. I want to get a photo of that and see how the internet responds to it. I just want to see what happens, man. No, but yeah, to be we do not have COVID.
We don't have COVID.
You are fine.
You're gonna be okay.
But I thought it would be a nice, fun, and extremely hypocritical bit to make you all think that you have a terrible disease for just like a little bit.
Just for like a second.
Just like that STD check did to me.
Yeah, just for the span of time it takes to get through the intro of our podcast.
Yeah, which is about as long as it took for me to Google that herpes 1 is cold sores.
Damn. Wondering whether or not you have COVID while listening to the taxpayers is a vibe.
That is a vibe.
Isn't that a vibe?
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, everybody, for that cool vibe. Welcome, everybody, to Life in the World to Come. I'm Will Wood.
I'm Christopher Dunn.
And this is an advice show about surviving the apocalypse.
It is, most of the time.
I was about to say usually, but I don't know.
You know, we get to it.
Sometimes.
We usually get to it most episodes.
Do. Yeah. I guess we usually do. We recorded for like a long time.
For like 40 minutes.
And then I got really like, you know what?
Yeah.
This is bad. And that's why I wanted to come back at this with high energy, because I feel bad for making Chris record so much. So I figure, you know what I'm going to do? We're gonna get really into this. We're going to enter a flow state that makes it so it just whizzes by, so that it doesn't feel like we've already been doing a ton of work for nothing.
Yeah, Will is giving me. I feel like it might just be like the lighting in this room, but I feel like your pupils are fully dilated.
I've got a lot. I've got
I feel like your eyes are like all black right now.
I'm like,
I think
got
you
my
just have
power stance.
dark brown eyes, but like just again from here it looks like it's just white and then black.
I took a lot of acid. I took a lot of acid, a couple of bumps of Molly, like while you were in the bathroom earlier.
Oh, I hope so.
So like, I'm just like, my teeth are grinding. I am fucking gacked right now, dude.
I would love for you to get gacked for an episode,
dude.
Can we both get fucking gacked for an episode?
Can we both like straddle the line of an overdose for an episode?
Yeah, just get like so close. Just like be fucking destroyed on heroin for an episode.
I'm thinking cocaine. Yeah. Just so that we're both like in danger if we laugh too hard.
Right, but it's at least a good episode.
Well, that too, yeah.
You know, heroin's going to be a conceptually interesting episode, but not very good ultimately. Cocaine will be conceptually interesting and also so funny.
I think it would be the best, our best
so
work
funny.
yet.
We'd be so good.
By the end of it, we're like coming up with our best ideas yet. We can see each other's pulses in our necks.
That's the real reason I don't want to do this podcast on cocaine.
Yeah.
Because what if it's so good? Like, what if it's our best work of all time? Now I have to be addicted to cocaine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. A lot of great comedians went that route, and they were great.
It's honestly the reason I've never done coke.
Yeah.
Because I know if I do coke once, I'm going to be like, oh, this is my life is fixed now.
Oof.
All of the problems that I have, this solves. Awesome.
Yeah, definitely don't do coke.
Yeah, no, that's why I haven't.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to do it.
I don't know how to get coke, so it's not going to be a problem.
Well, that's good. Because if I was going to get it from anyone, it would probably be you.
Yeah.
So
why?
Because you're the guy I know who knows guys who have drugs.
I guess I do know guys who have drugs. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm in the music industry.
You're in the music industry. You know a guy with cocaine.
One time,
you just said you don't know where to get cocaine. I frankly don't believe you.
I actually don't think I do. But like,
I bet if you thought about it for like 15 minutes, you could figure out someone who could get you cocaine.
Somebody who
I maybe
could get
shouldn't
it.
be saying this to you, but like,
hey,
I don't want to give you any good
you know
ideas.
what, Chris? I think you're right. I think I might know a guy who can get me some cocaine. I have to go make a couple phone calls really quick. I'll be right back. That sucked. I didn't have to punctuate that with a burp.
No, but
it
was nice. It was fun.
You think the burp helped?
Now let's start over.
Okay, let's start the episode over again. One time, I'm not going to say who I was working with, but I was working with I was preparing for a run of shows, and somebody I was working with was like, "Listen, need anything in particular for the green room?"
Right.
And I was like, I don't know, fucking some O'Douls, couple of Diet Pepsis. He's like, okay, you need anything like illegal? It's like, no, what the fuck? What do you mean? Like
it's so funny to ask someone if they need coke just in case.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, because for one, and I was like, is that something that you can do even? And he was like, yeah, I mean, like, if I really needed to, I could.
If I really needed to,
I could help you find whatever you need. I could just, just like let me know. No judgment, no judgment. I just whatever you need in order to. No, dude, I don't need any fucking illegal things for the. I don't think that was weird. Like, good to know you're like, I guess, willing to work hard.
Yeah,
I
guess.
But like,
but
no,
it's funny. It's weird that I feel like if you had wanted cocaine, you would have mentioned it along with the O'Douls and Diet Coke.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And it would have been weird to mention alongside O'Douls,
right? Yeah, I feel like the O'Douls should be a giveaway that you're not also going to ask for cocaine.
I feel like if the thing I want on my hospitality rider is non-alcoholic beers,
yeah,
then you can probably assume, okay, but what about like cocaine?
But
like,
honestly,
that's not...
I'm thinking about it now. Fucking like O'Douls and cocaine, sick energy. That fucking kind of rules, actually. It's like, look, I'm not fucking crazy, like.
Well,
listen, I know which of these things work for me and which ones don't. Okay,
right? That's a fair point. There's something there. Maybe I should take up cocaine. Maybe that's what I need. I
think that's what you need.
I think that's what this podcast needs.
Cocaine.
And let's get into answering some questions.
Let's get into answering some questions.
And I want to try and see if I can muster up some cocaine energy within me.
Okay.
I don't have any, but maybe there's some cocaine in my heart.
Yeah.
And I can do a line in my soul. And just do a fat line in my mind and see if that can conjure up some additional energy.
Damn, if that works, you have very good news for any coke addicts you might know.
I should
imagine actually being addicted to cocaine and figuring out you could do that. That would be an incredible thing. You have free cocaine forever in your beautiful imagination. If you could just like that one scene from Hook, but with cocaine, like.
That's really good. Oh, I do believe in cocaine. I do believe in cocaine.
That's a pretty good sketch, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty
good. Pretty fun idea for a sketch. Just like all the kids like eating like the fake turkey and mashed potato. Oh, this is fucked actually. And then it cuts to Robin Williams and he's just off like an empty plate.
Yeah, that is fucked. You're right.
Want no sugar? Just like, so a bunch of sugar. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, like he's a grown ass man.
Yeah, he's a grown man. He's a grown ass Robin Williams.
If I got transported, fucking second star to the right, straight on till morning.
Right.
We're a bunch of fucking children who are 40, but also are still children.
Yeah.
And have been trapped.
A bunch of 150-year-old children
who have been trapped on a fucking pirate island for who knows, centuries maybe, with pirates everywhere, and maybe mermaids are real. I'd probably want drugs.
I'd probably imagine myself up some drugs.
I probably
Once I find out I can use my imagination to create a turkey leg, I might do cocaine next.
I wouldn't stop at turkey leg.
I know. I wouldn't stop. I don't know. I'd maybe next I would imagine like a boat or something, like a boat or like a helicopter,
a gun,
right? Yeah,
to shoot Captain Hook with.
Yeah, what is the limits of this?
Yeah,
that's the thing that they don't show is that like it's happening very slowly because of the time dilation effects of Never Neverland. But they are starving to death.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not creating magical food. They're just starving to death so slowly. And it's actually that one scene is very sad.
Yeah.
You know.
I like to think that they are conjuring the food.
Right.
And just like they're like, you know, their childlike naivete made it so that they just have not recognized that, like, hey, you could solve this pirate problem real easy. You just rustle up some imaginary guns.
Just make some imaginary guns.
Just a bomb.
Yeah. Hey, why haven't the pirates have guns?
Probably.
Steal some guns from the pirates. Shoot Captain Hook in the head. Also, fun advice for Captain Hook, shoot the fucking alligator in the head.
Yeah.
There's so many problems in Peter Pan that could have just solved if you shot someone in the head.
Yeah, for instance, you never have to grow up if you shoot yourself in the head.
That's what it seems. It's a metaphor for that, actually.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah, that's what it's a metaphor for. That's what Peter should have done. Instead of flying off to Neverland, he should have just shot himself in the head.
He's a little shit.
Fuck that guy.
He's the least likable Disney character.
I mean, like, he just, I don't know, man. There's something about his like relationship with the Lost Boys that feels exploitative.
He seems like a fascist, yeah.
A little bit.
He seems like a villain in a Lord of the Flies style book.
He puts on he like steals a Native American headdress and
he's
does a bunch of racist shit and then commands an army of boys to follow him around the island. This is not a good dude.
Exactly. Like I feel like
because he's scared of responsibility.
Right. I feel like in most stories he's a character who, like, the story ends with he gets ritualistically crushed under a rock by the other island children.
I would hope so.
Like, you know what I mean?
If he had been in any other book.
Like, he's supposed to be a metaphor for why fascism doesn't work out for people.
Or something, yeah.
You know, like, if you try to be an authoritarian, you get fucking crushed by the people.
I'm picturing Peter Pan talking to a rotting pig head on a pike.
Yeah, no. I mean, that had to happen at some point. Like,
right there.
You know what I mean? Like, they can't just be all doing fun shit.
It can't
be
they're
fucking animal boys. Just fucking.
It can't be none of them died.
Not even. I bet a bunch of them died.
Yeah. I wonder how many there were to start.
He keeps going out to get more kids. They're fucking like.
This guy's flying out from space to bring more children to Neverland. Why? Because he's running out. Because he needs more.
Yeah, you know, if you go to Neverland, you'll never grow up. Don't ask any more questions about what I mean by that.
Jesus Christ. Like, are these child soldiers?
So they never age? Oh, they age. It just, you know, they just don't grow up.
Time passes here.
Time passes. They get older.
They're just
not going to grow up. Like, these kids not growing up.
He needs,
because of like the pirates and such.
And he know
this kid got killed by a pirate.
Peter Pan's Lost Boys are child soldiers against an army of pirates.
Adult men.
Yeah.
Fucking grown adult men who are obsessed with killing them.
Peter Pan Coney 2012?
I think he is.
Is he just Ginger Coney?
I think he's like Ginger Coney with fucking Andy Milonakis disease. he's a grown man. He's a man. He's been alive for hundreds of years. He knows better.
Yep. Certainly. Even if he had never like become an adult by some stretch, it's been long
he has
enough.
A crude enough experience that you should know what you're doing to these boys is wrong.
Absolutely.
Let these boys go home.
Jesus Christ. Look, I don't like to be that guy who does like edgy reimagining of a Disney concept, and that's comedy. But also, sprinkling a bunch of nondescript dust on children and saying, "Come with me to space. You'll never have to grow up." Scary.
I really like you reframing it as space, because it's true. It's you're right. He takes them to a star.
They go second star to the right and straight on till morning. They go to space.
They fucking come back and like because of like the time dilation of traveling at near light speeds, like fucking 5,000 years have passed in real time on Earth. It's this fucking bombed out wasteland. They don't know what's going on.
Fucking generations have lived and died wondering what happened to little Mikey. Grandpa Mikey, he disappeared in the late 1800s. Never heard from again. That's fucking. Yeah, they went to space.
They went to space. I like that.
I like to think that Peter Pan is. Yeah, I like these. I like these thoughts that we've had, and I'm glad that we had them together.
These are good thoughts.
Yeah,
I'm happy with them,
and I think that they are. They belong in an advice show about the apocalypse.
Yeah, I don't know how we got here.
No fucking idea.
It's impossible to say.
I have no idea. I gotta pee so bad,
Can't
dude.
retrace those steps.
I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna go?
I'm not gonna go.
Okay.
I'm gonna use this energy, and it's gonna be uncomfortable. By the end of this episode, I'm gonna need to pee so fucking badly. But I do have a lot of energy from it right now. Like everything feels a little desperate. Let's answer a question. I don't think we've done it yet.
No, I think we cut out the part that we did.
Okay. Beloved Gremlin. Hi, Chris. This one's for you.
Okay.
My best friend and I are both dating bassists, and I think it's a cool coincidence. Will this bring any advances in the world to come? Sophia. Okay, never mind. In my mind, Chris played bass at one point, and Google has just showed me no evidence of that. That's embarrassing.
It's weird. I did play bass at one point, but like a very brief point.
You have bass energy.
I do have a bassist energy.
Yeah.
I do think also at the shows there are some people who just think I'm Vader straight up.
Oh, that might be it.
I think that there's a lot of people who just straight up think I'm Vader Boris.
Just big dude with a beard.
Yeah, no, that's all. They just they say they see a big dude and they stop paying attention.
Oh,
they see a fat guy, they're like, I got it.
You're just bringing up just like a sad, mean truth about how people are sometimes.
I thought it was kind of funny, but you know.
I just think it just makes me mad. It just makes me mad.
You know, they see a fat guy and they're like, got it, fat guy. Okay.
I fucking hate this person.
You can't know
about.
Two fat guys. That would be crazy. One is disgusting enough.
I can't participate in this bit. It just makes me mad. But
the fat guy just farted a little bit, so I'm gonna open. A little stinky for a second there.
I'm sitting again. I shouldn't be sitting. I need this energy. I need the standing and need to pee energy. But I still feel like that's a good question. Will it bring any advantages in the world to come to be dating a bassist?
Right.
And the answer is yes, because this is a totally upside down world.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's upside down.
Everything's upside down.
Everything's flipped up. Yeah.
And in the world to come, in this crazy topsy-turvy world where everything's the opposite of how it is right now, dating a bassist will be a great thing.
In the fucking crazy topsy-turvy upside down far off future. You will. God, what's the thing a bad boyfriend would do? I'm just trying to think of like a. I'm blanking for some reason. I
can't think of anything that isn't too bad for it to be funny anymore.
Yeah, like
you're like what's a bad thing a boyfriend could do? I'm just like, I don't know, domestic violence, but like that's not. I don't know how to joke from there.
Like in my head, I'm just like, oh, in this future, you're gonna not have to pay for dinner all the time. And like, shut the fuck up, Chris. That's nothing.
Yeah, but
that's so down the middle.
Yeah, but it's true,
right?
You know, like, and the point, you know, and part of comedy is being relatable and reaching out to the world at large and saying, hey, we're here too, right here with you. Ain't it just funny how bassists can never afford the fucking dinner that you take them out to?
Isn't it funny that bassists are poor?
Isn't it fucking hilarious? You know what? It is kind of fucked up. You know what? No making fun of bassists. It's punching down. I've decided. And now I feel bad for beloved Gremlin or Sophia. Sophia, You're both dating bassists, and that's wrong. There's a power imbalance there. Damn, I've known and enjoyed the company of too many bassists for me to be making these jokes. I feel bad. Bassists are people who play long, big guitars, and that's all you can actually glean about them.
Yeah.
What was my point? Bassists.
What was the question? Right, yeah. Should you date them?
In the world to come?
In the world to come, yeah.
Yeah, because...
every bassist will be so rich.
And also they'll have very strong arms.
Right.
You know? Because that is something that playing bass will do.
That's
give you
true, they're fucking jacked.
meaty fucking forearms.
Yeah, dude. Fucking big, wide fingers.
Both of y'all's boyfriends have probably some really fucking sexy forearms.
Some sexy forearms. And again, some fucking big, flat fingers. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Flat fingers.
Like big, like fucking slapping fingers.
Slapping fingers.
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah. That's what's going to happen in the world to come is that if you learn to play the bass now, what will happen is your muscles will alter in response to the radiation in such a way that, you know, it's like almost like natural selection on a microscopic level inside your hand.
Yeah.
So that your hand becomes more adept for playing bass. That's how it works. Okay, shut up.
Right. Yeah.
And you'll have big slapping fingers.
You'll be a you'll have fucking Mickey Mouse hands.
Right.
Like fucking imagine Mickey Mouse with no gloves.
Exactly.
But his hand is the same shape.
Right. In the world to come, your boyfriend's going to have big, fat, smacking fingers. And he'll be able to just knock anything out of the way. And meaty forearms to launch those smacking fingers left and right like it's nobody's business.
Incapable of playing the bass. His fingers are too big.
No, you can't
But
play
he can
an
do all
instrument.
kinds of other cool stuff with them now.
Like slap.
Like slap.
Mostly slap.
Mostly slapping.
He could slap someone fucking silly with just his fucking pinky finger.
Yeah, just back and forth, dude.
Because his pinky finger will be the size of what currently your boyfriend's probably already large hands are. Your boyfriend will be able to kill a man with a wiggle of his fingers.
With a little wiggle of his fingers. And I can't stress this enough, he will not be able to play the bass.
No.
Unless you get him a fucking house-sized bass.
Right. Which will be too big for
That is
the rest
impractical.
of his body.
How are they going to make that? There's no factories.
Right, and it'll be big enough for his hands, but not for the rest of them. You know?
No wonder he's going to know what a bass is.
That's true. He's going to forget.
He's going to...
People are going to be like, how'd your fingers get so big? He's going to be like,
I don't know! It haunts him. He wakes up screaming about it every night.
Right, because also what's going to happen to your boyfriends, I've had visions of this, is that they're both going to develop a sort of daily amnesia.
Right.
Where they forget why their hands are the way they are every day.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to explain it to them every day. And you're going to have to console them as they mourn the loss of the ability to play the bass every day. And also mourn their new freak show nature with them every day. It's going to be real. They're going to... a lot of emotional labor.
Wake up every morning screaming, having just like dreamed the intro to Les Claypool's One Better. And just being like, what is this sound? It's like nothing I've ever heard before.
They're going to forget about bass altogether.
No creature of God could make noises like this.
I can't not pee. I can't not pee.
It's cool, dude.
I got to do it.
Let's take a quick pause. I want to stretch my legs.
Keep recording.
Well, I'm going to leave this room for a sec, so it's just going to be silent for a little bit.
So I was listening back to an episode from a couple weeks ago recently. And something that kind of compelled me.
Leave this door open because it's hot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I noticed something that I feel like was a very powerful energy.
Okay.
And that was that I made an effort to come up with the biggest and possible for my yes and.
Okay.
And it led to some absolute chaos that I don't know if it was any good.
I thought it was funny. It didn't have anything to do with what the way I responded to it. Basically ignored everything that you said.
It was yours was a whatever and
right. Kind of yeah.
You didn't disagree with what I was saying. You just also went okay and. But
it's I couldn't think of a yes and so I just had to jump wildly to something else.
Yeah, but what I want to do is I want to see if I can conjure up the biggest ands possible.
Okay.
72 point ampersands. None of this fucking little like yes and.
Okay.
But yes. And
yeah.
You know, like with I want to add ands that have so much fucking power in them that you're just gonna feel like you're going to be like injured by each and that I give.
Okay.
Every new detail that I add to each answer, you're going to be like, that is out of left field. That's ridiculous.
You're going to
That's
smack
risky.
the fuck out of me
That's
with these
weird.
ands.
I'm going to beat you over the head with an and.
Okay.
And that's how we're going to answer the next step.
All right, I'm
question.
excited.
And I want to see how far this goes.
Okay.
I'm going to take some big risks, some big swings, and the size of skyscrapers, and so big that this might be terrible. But I want to see what happens if I can pull out an and.
I'm just going to set up my little device that lets me talk to Mothra just in case.
Sure. I appreciate that.
My little radio thing that
Yeah.
turns it into like sonic waves.
This one's a question about Jeff Mangum.
Okay.
Um,
The Tool guy?
what?
The Tool guy? Who's Jeff Mangum again?
Oh, that's a Neutral Milk Hotel guy.
Right,
You're
okay.
thinking Maynard Keenan.
Yeah.
And I don't...
That
I'm
sucks
already-
that I fucked that up. That's so embarrassing.
You don't know rock music, do you? You don't know the 90s, do you?
Specifically that I mistook the Neutral Milk Hotel guy for the Tool guy. People are killing themselves.
People are going to hear that and get really upset.
upset.
Yeah.
There's this one person, Kat, who sends us like 8 emails a day.
Oh.
There's always like, anytime I open up the email, there's always like 4 emails in a row from the same person named Kat. So I'm finally going to give you what you want.
Don't encourage it. You're going to get even more tomorrow. All right, fine.
Oh, whoa, weird.
What?
Hey, Crib and Bib, a close friend of mine recently started learning bass guitar.
What the fuck?
He's great at it, but I'm worried that it'll all be useless once the bombs drop. I was wondering, what new instruments will be available in the world to come? Will my piano try to eat me? Perhaps there will be new styles of music. I really need to know so that I can help my friend before I have to eat him. Thanks.
Cool.
What are like the new instruments going to be like?
I don't know.
That's the smallest and I've ever seen.
There's no. I didn't get a yes. There's nothing for me to and yet.
I guess, yeah. And I guess, what's the instruments going to be?
I don't know.
You just like, you just kind of,
Listen, I'm just the and guy.
All right, so like imagine a battlefield. Mm-hmm. Imagine the sound of gunshots. Mm-hmm. Hey, here's the thing. You know how like in plays and like Broadway musicals and stuff, people are always like like the music of New York City.
Yeah.
The sound of a taxi. It's like a timpani drum or something.
I'm walking here.
They're gonna be like that. It's like, you can say a lot of similar things about like a killing ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
just like 10,000 men with swords like fucking cutting the fuck out of each other.
Music is going to be the sound of organs spilling out of somebody's abdomen.
Right, exactly.
Nothing's going to be a sweeter sound than popping on those AirPods Max and listening to recordings of organs spilling out of people's
just, like,
bodies.
Put on your fucking Bose and just listen to just kind of like that.
Yeah,
you know
don't
what I
get
mean?
it mixed up, listener. Do
Right.
not get it mixed up, okay? I'm not saying that you're going to go off to the battlefields or just listen closely to whispers along the sides of craters in the wastelands. I'm not saying just listen to the sounds, the music of the violence of the
Right.
world to come. No.
Yeah.
Go out and buy a CD.
Right.
You're going to go out and buy a CD in the world to come, and it's going to be recordings of people dying.
Yeah.
That's going to be music in the world to come.
Right.
And what is the instrument in that? Weapons.
Exactly, because that's the thing. In the world to come, like, there's always going to be one guy, at least one guy in your life. You're like, God, I want to hear that guy scream and die.
Yeah.
And so that's what music really is. It's just kind of like allowing you to like experience that, even if the person who you want to hear screaming and dying is like much taller and stronger than you.
Right, exactly. You get a chance to kind of like put yourself in the shoes of the artist who recorded that great track.
Right, exactly.
And the great thing about the world to come is that like right now we all think like, well, it's really awesome that technology has allowed people of all kinds and even varying skill levels to make music.
Yeah.
In the world to come, music's going to be even more democratized.
It's going to be so accessible.
Because we're all going to be constantly killing people.
It's going to be, again,
every day's going to be like 20 concerts.
And I feel like the experience of listening to music is going to be a little different too. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not the kind of, like, you're not gonna like put on music at a party.
No.
Like, you're not gonna like blast songs in like the car.
Bad vibe.
Bad vibe. No, what your music is mostly gonna be like listened to like alone while sitting in like a hard chair in front of a mirror.
Yes.
You know, you just kind of put on like a really good set of noise canceling headphones and just like listen to the sound of violence while you stare into your own soul.
And masturbate.
And you just kind of jerk off while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of fucking pump it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, maybe wear a big hat while you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe wear a big hat because it's going to be all about like,
Oh, that and oh.
I feel like when I go for big and, I always just put a hat on a guy.
That's like literally like in like writers' rooms. That's like an example that you use of a bad thing.
Yeah, I know.
It's just like you put a hat on.
No, that's
Like,
that's what I did.
You literally
Last time
did that.
I talked about putting a big and on something, we were talking about zombies, and I just added a hat. I just made one of the zombies wear a paper hat.
That's pretty good. This is a pretty good hand.
Shit, this is bad though.
There's gonna-
that means wait. What if what if this means I'm bad at improv, Chris? What if this means I'm bad at improv?
Maybe
comedy?
overthinking it.
I
Like,
think I
maybe
might
just
be
kind of
bad at
exist in the bit
Okay,
instead of like
hold
getting
on,
obsessed with the rules.
Okay, you're looking in the mirror. You're listening to the screams of people who have been deaded, and you're wearing a hat, but you're also you're wearing shoes.
Oh my god,
Really
that's
fun shoes.
That's another new detail. That's
There you
great.
go. And you're into bondage in the world to come. By the way,
Sure.
thought you didn't. Maybe you didn't know that about yourself, but you're going to discover that because everybody's going to be in the world to come. A lot of leather and chains, you know, rattling around left and right. You're going to eventually associate it with sex because, like, anytime you fuck someone, there's at least somebody being bound and gagged somewhere nearby because it's the apocalypse. It's just how things are. Eventually, it's going to Pavlovianly turn you into a kinkster. So you're going to be binding yourself into a chair, looking in the mirror and masturbating to the screams of the dying in your Bose headphones, right?
Yeah.
Wearing those shoes and that hat, jangling them chains wrapped up in leather, and you're going to be in a little bit of trouble right there, right? Because you're going to be bound and gagged with nobody will set you free because you don't have a dom, you're your own dom, and that means you're your own sub.
Yeah,
that's trouble. Don't listen to music.
I'm gonna cut all that out.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm kidding. Imagine if I did.
This is a lot of and.
And you know, and you're sitting at home being very judgmental.
Yeah.
About this whole thing right now.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
About being like that's no, this is just how culture works.
Yeah.
You know? It's just going to be how things it's going to feel like the most natural thing in the world.
Yeah, you're not going
to understand why music wouldn't be like that. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Because like what other sounds would possibly bring you any pleasure?
Yeah.
You know, what is a saxophone? Keep it away from me. That thing's scary. Is it alive? Will it bite?
Right. Exactly.
You know, you see
That's
a saxophone in the world
thing.
to come, you're probably going to run away because it looks kind of like a big metal snake.
Anything that makes a sound that could not arise organically is going to be very startling.
I used to chase around my dog with my clarinet. I would play a note and he'd be like, "What the fuck is that thing?"
It's gonna
He'd
be
just
like
start
that.
screaming and running away.
You're just gonna be like a scared dog every time you hear a fucking guitar.
Exactly.
Just like
you ever tried playing music for an animal? They don't like it.
Nobody had to die for this.
Yeah.
Why?
Right. It's gonna be like, wait, this sound. It's strange. It's stimulating me in a way I don't care for. I find it alien and confusing.
Right.
And there's
Exactly.
no death involved.
Like I'm experiencing an emotion that isn't rage, and I don't know how to process that.
This isn't kinky at all.
Right, and it's also just not going to feel interesting.
Right.
Because, like, you know, you're ever since the day you watched that rat bastard put a fucking claymore through your father's chest cavity, you haven't been able to think about anything other than the sound of his chest cavity exploding.
Right.
And
how
so
are
it's
you
just
going to
like
cope with that?
Exactly.
How are you going to cope with it other than sexualizing it in your
like
mind?
like hearing a little guitar, all you're going to be thinking about is like the sound of a fucking hard steel bursting through chest cavity.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that you're going to want to hear. And you're going to be like, this jazz is pretty good. Why isn't there a sword coming through a chest?
That's going to slowly
as part of it.
And it's going to slowly develop it. I really regret so many things. So much of these ands. Big ands might not be the answer.
You've locked yourself in a cage of ands.
I locked myself.
Every and is a new bar of the prison you have forged.
And now I'm in a prison of people listening to the sound of death while masturbating.
Yeah.
And I don't like that at all. That's really bad.
Well, it's where we are. It's what it is, and it's what
where
happened.
we've been for like years.
Yeah,
to a certain extent.
You know, it was always kind of implied, I feel.
I feel like it's just a little too explicit for my tastes. You know, I don't care for it.
Right.
But it's too late. There's
too late.
only
We're in
one
it.
way out, and that's through.
Let's fucking push through this fucking...
And then you'll come. The end.
Yep.
Next question.
And then you don't need the music anymore. It served its purpose.
Exactly. And you're gonna turn. You're gonna and after you've finished, you're gonna make sure to take those headphones off quick, because once you're done, it feels weird.
Yeah. You realize what you've been doing, and it feels wrong.
You listen to it, and you're just like, oh, gross.
Did I just fucking jerk off to the sound of a guy getting his head cut off? That's fucked up. Anyway.
Yeah, and then you're gonna get.
I'm gonna go look for beans or whatever. like,
that post-nut clarity kicks in. It's just like, I don't... Oh, man. That sounds a lot like the sound of a claymore going through my father's chest. That's...
Why did I love that?
I don't like that this... Oh, shit. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this chair, though. And that's how your life is going to be. Jesus Christ.
It's our next question.
Our next question.
Let me look for a question.
Beloved Gremline just asked another question. Remember Sophia with the bassists?
Yeah.
She just asked another question 4 minutes ago.
Okay.
And she wrote, "Hi, Scrunkle and Scrimblow. I'm a pretty kinky person." And it's got me wondering, what's BDSM going to be like in the world to come? Sophia. You're welcome. You're welcome,
did
Sophia. We already did it. I'm going to give her a quick react to this post. Or maybe I shouldn't. Is that
yeah, I can definitely see how that can be. It's like, I'm a very kinky person. Nice, dude.
I like the
nice.
There's like this one emoji that's like a really scary face with like a frighteningly large smile.
You should do one of the emojis that's just your face.
There's also one that's just a picture of Tom Waits.
Speaking of intimacy.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris and Will.
What up?
I think my parents have entered the rough patch of their marriage.
The rough patch?
The rough patch. Apparently the inevitable rough patch.
Who is this from? What's the name?
This is from Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
Break the cycle. There doesn't have to be the rough patch. What the fuck?
Right.
I think the phrase you're looking for is a rough patch. You know?
Yeah.
It just makes it sound like there's like an inevitable stage of every relationship.
Marriage. Or like, like the stage of every marriage where you fucking hate each other?
Right.
You know?
I think it sounds to me like my parents are finally getting to that time when they divorce.
Right. Well, that actually is kind of where this is going.
Oh, no.
I think my parents have entered the rough patch of their marriage and are heading headfirst for the divorce papers.
The rough patch.
So with that, I wonder, will marriage still exist in the life in the world to come? Or will you just find a person and procreate, then move on?
What you're going to do is you're going to find a person and you're going to cut your fucking arm off. And you're going to cut their arm off too, and you're going to stitch yourselves together by the arm stump hole.
You're gonna be one guy.
One guy. Two torsos, two heads.
In the fucking world to come, that's legally one guy.
That's legally one guy.
There's like a guy who's in charge, and he's like, "This is your one guy now."
Now, who is that one guy? Who's in charge? Jesus.
It's gonna be Jesus Christ, and he's gonna have a lot of new rules that are very confusing, and you're not gonna be really. You kind of get the like. You sort of get the sense that like Jesus wasn't supposed to come back.
Right.
Like he kind of like tripped and fell out of heaven and like smacked his head real hard.
He hit his head really hard.
And now he's got some weird shit that he's very insistent on.
So
one of which being is that a marriage isn't valid unless you're literally one person, and one way to literally become one person is to sew each other together at the arms.
That's basically a legal loophole. That's the best you're going to be able to do if you want to marry someone, because the other option is getting your brain shoved into their head or vice versa. Some way to actually physically make you into one guy.
But the thing is because of the brain damage, he's easy to trick. So you can just kind of sew your body together,
right,
and be like, "We're one guy," and he's like, "Okay, yeah."
So Jesus is
he
gonna...
slurs so much when he's telling us all this.
You know what? Come to think of it, you might not even need to. If you're clever enough and you catch him in the right kind of mood, he's going to be presiding over all weddings in the world to come. He's just going to be doing that.
He's going to be traveling from house to house,
checking to see, are you married? You want to get married? You better. You better not be fucking in here unless you're one guy.
You better be one guy. You want your wine now. You turn into wine. You're just like, it doesn't even make sense. It's like that wasn't even what he did. He's just fucking doing shit.
He's not well.
He's not well,
and he doesn't make a recovery.
He's confused about what his powers are, but he's Jesus, so he's still right.
He doesn't recover.
He never recovers. It was permanent damage.
And so
he fell from heaven.
That's far.
You ever see a guy fall out of the sky? It's insane. He's still walking around and talking and stuff.
It's fucking nuts. And Jesus is gonna have bones sticking out of his skin and stuff.
If he wasn't a miracle person, his head would have exploded on the rocks. But he is of God,
right?
So he's like, So
his head, when his head exploded on the rocks,
right,
he stayed alive. And so his head's kind of a mush,
right? It's Jesus, but he's got like this fucked up mushy head that's just kind of leaking.
Yeah, and all of his bones are like a little broken.
Yeah,
so he's kind of just flopping around a little bit. He can walk, but only because he's full of Jesus.
He's just kind of walking around, sewing people together and turning them into wine.
Yeah, and just crunching along. His bones just crunching up against each other, limping along.
Right.
You're wine.
He's just like, you're fucking wine,
you
dude.
You better not be fucking unless you're one dude.
Fucking wine.
I'll make you
salt, wine. Pillar of salt.
and he'll
You're
turn
fish
you.
now. I can do that shit. I got salt magic. I got wine magic. I got fish magic.
Yeah, and basically his whole deal will be turning you into wine if he catches you fucking, but being more than one person.
Right.
So you got to trick him, right? And if you catch him in the right mood, what you can do is just get a really big shirt.
Right.
And just wear that with your buddy.
Right.
Or your
you can just kind of like a big shirt and you kind of stick both your heads through the thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And he'll be like, "Oh, that's one guy. All right, you can have sex, but only because you're just you."
Why is that so funny? I'm just like,
okay,
all right.
That counts as marriage.
All right, you can fuck now. And then he just leaves and never returns. Everyone gets one visit.
Yeah. Yep. Everybody gets one visit from Jesus, but you got to be ready for it.
Yeah.
It could happen at any time. And because he's really confused, theoretically, it could happen again. He's only got you on his list once, but he's all fucked up.
He has bad brain damage. His head is shattered.
His head is shattered to pieces.
He still has skull in his brain.
His eyes are in his mouth.
Yeah.
He's a mess. The fact that he's up and walking around is fucking terrifying.
Again, it's a miracle in and of itself.
He's a mangled pile of bone and Christ.
Right.
So you gotta just trick him. Because his standard of marriage is going to be being one person, literally.
Yeah.
But all you got to do for that is just to pretend to be one person. Now you might be saying like, well, why don't I just like have my wife hide, like, and then I'll just say, yeah, I'm married to myself. See, and then I can have sex with myself because that's the standard of marriage is if you're just one guy.
Right.
No, you got to be two guys who are one guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was clear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You also can't masturbate.
No, you can't do that. No. But you got to be one guy who's made out of two guys.
Yeah.
And let me be clear. When I say two guys, I mean two guys.
Right.
Only gay marriage will be allowed.
Only gay marriage.
He's going to get it.
No lesbian marriage.
No lesbian marriage and no straight marriage.
No straight marriage.
Only gay marriage.
Only gay marriage.
Jesus is going to be really confused.
He's going to be so fucking messed up in the skull.
He's going to forget his own policies.
He does not really remember any of it.
What was the thing about gay people? They got to be married. But they gotta be one guy. All right, God said one man, and
I think that was it. I think that was it.
This episode's been fucking weird.
It's been a weird episode,
and I'm tired, and I'm hungry, and I have so much shit that I need to be doing right now. This is kind of what I
feel like you could expect from a post-tour episode.
Yeah,
just kind of like
I say we call it.
You want to just end it? Yeah, dude.
We've got 105 minutes.
We got 105. Yeah, I can edit this into something.
That's
this is
an
fine.
hour and 35 minutes.
Yeah,
there's an hour 45.
Yeah, there's an hour's worth of material.
Hour 45? Yeah.
Let's fucking call it. We're done.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Life in the World to Come.
Thanks, everybody. If you would like to support us on Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/lifeintheworldtocome. If you would like to buy our merch, you can do that at lifeintheworldtocome.bigcartel.com. You can send us an email at lifeintheworldtocome at gmail.com if you'd like your little question about the apocalypse answered. And our intro and outro music is We Are the Hellhounds by the Taxpayers.
This episode is brought to you by NordVPN. Protect your data with NordVPN. Go to nord.com
/ fucking come life forever with the number 4. And then there's a Z at the end of forever. So it's really more forevers, but that the Z is silent.
Yeah. Nobody told me what the URL we were going to go with was.
I was fucking blasted on speed when they asked.
Okay.
And so it's come life forevers.
Okay.
Code come life forevers at nordvpn.com. And if you try that and it doesn't work, just send them like a lot of angry emails.
Yeah.
Just like kind of call their helpline and be like, what the fuck is going on? Give me my fucking. This is if you enter come life forevers at NordVPN, you're gonna get a 98% discount. So you can just go on there. You're gonna get 110% discount. They'll give you $10.
Just make sure to mention this ad.
If you mention this ad, they'll give you $30. So. And remember, if it doesn't work, I can't stress it enough. Get so mad. Just get so mad about it and send them a lot of emails and phone calls.
This episode is brought to you by HelloFresh.
This episode is by HelloFresh.
Just go to HelloFresh.com and enter the code come life for come life for coming life evers ZZZZZ, and you'll get 140% off the next 12 meals, which means you're gonna get a bunch of free meals and some money. And if they don't give you that, once again, just send them a bunch of angry emails.
Send them so many angry emails.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.